मेरी शहनाई माँ को पुकार रही है। देखिए किस तरीके से पहा में माँ की आवाज आ रही है, बार बार कह रही है माँ माँ माँ।
which is all powerful, all pervading, but is born in a stable.
Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ji Shri Nirmala Shri Karki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ji Shri Nirmala Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Sahasrar Swamini Moksha Pradayani Mata Ji Shri Nirmala Shri Ganesh Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mata Ji Shri Devi Namo Namah.
आ गई भैया, बोलो आ गई।
पीछे से आ गया
कोई बात नहीं होगा।
ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी सरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल्की साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायनी माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गणेश साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ही जगत पिता, तू ही परम पिता, सबके तुम ही रखवाले। तुम हो सभी के सहारे, तू ही जगत पिता, तू ही परम पिता, सबके तुम ही रखवाले। तुम हो सभी के सहारे। जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति। तुम ज्ञान हृदय में जगाते, तुम ध्यान में नित आते। तुम ज्ञान हृदय में जगाते, तुम ध्यान में नित आते। जिसे सुमिर सभी बिसरे न कभी, जिसे सुमिर सभी बिसरे न कभी। तुम ऐसे तिलक करे। जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति। तू ही जगत पिता, तू ही परम पिता, सबके तुम ही रखवाले। तुम हो सभी के सहारे। जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति। करे सदा तेरा वंदन निश दिन, माथे लगे तेरा चंदन निश दिन। करे सदा तेरा वंदन निश दिन, माथे लगे तेरा चंदन निश दिन। कष्ट मिटा के मेरा तुम दूर कर दो अंधेरा। हर कष्ट मिटा के मेरा तुम दूर कर दो अंधेरा। तुम्हें कोटि नमन तन मन अर्पण, तुम्हें कोटि नमन तन मन अर्पण। तुम्हारे चरणों में पले। जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति। तू ही जगत पिता, तू ही परम पिता, सबके तुम ही रखवाले। तुम हो सभी के सहारे। जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति, जय जय गणपति। अब हम श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी सुनते हुए ध्यान करेंगे। लेट अस नाउ लिसन श्री माता जी स्पीच।
day for us to remember that Christ was born on this earth. As a human being, he came on this earth. And the task that was before him was to enlighten human awareness. This day for us to remember that Christ was born on this earth. As a human being, he came on this earth. And the task that was before him was to enlighten human awareness with the sense of understanding. We can say it is actualization within the awareness of human beings that they are not this body, but they are the spirit. The message of Christ is his resurrection. That is, you are your spirit and not your body. And he showed by his resurrection how he ascended into the realm of spirit, which he was, because he was Pranava, he was Brahma, he was Mahavishnu, as I have told you about his birth. And when he came on this earth, in a body, like a human being, he wanted to show another thing, that spirit has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with power. It is all powerful, all pervading, but is born in a stable. Not in a palace or to a king, but he was born to a very ordinary person, a carpenter. Because if you are the king, as we say in Hindi language, Badshah, then nothing is greater than you, isn't it? It means simply that. Nothing is higher than you, neither anything can decorate you, because whatever you are at the highest. All the worldly things, so-called, are just like dried grass, Trinavat. So he was kept in the dried grass. To many it makes very unhappy, and they feel very sorry that Christ, the one who came to save us, was kept under such conditions, and why not God provided him with something better? But to such people it does not matter whether you are lying in the dried grass or in the stable or in the palaces. Everything is just the same, for it does not touch them. They are so detached and they are completely in joy. They are the masters of themselves. Nothing can master them. No matter can master them, no comfort can master them. They are masters of complete comforts within themselves. They have achieved all the comforts within themselves. They are satisfied people. That's why they are kings They're called as kings, not those kings who run after things, or those kings who seek comforts in life. I mean, if you have comforts, well and good. If you don't have, well and good. Makes no difference. So many people, especially in Latin America when I went there, they said, but we can't understand why Christ was born as a poor man. This is again the human concept about God is. See, he wants to command God, be born in a king's palace. You cannot order him about. We have our own concepts about God. That why should he be a poor man? Why should he be helpless? He never showed his helplessness. He was much more dynamic than all your kings and all your politicians put together. He was not afraid of anyone. Whatever he had to say, he said it. He was not afraid of crucifixion or any such punishment so-called. It's only the human beings, you see, who have these false ideas about life. And that's why they want to put these ideas onto God also and try to make him follow their own concepts. God is not your concept. He is not a concept at all. To also say that concept is after all is a concept is also a concept. This I have found out very recently. This is another myth people carry. Those who say that, oh, concept is a concept, all right. Mataji says, all right, so what? But even this is a concept. Because concept is thought. You have to rise beyond thought, at a higher level, into thoughtless awareness, where you are not in thought, but you are in the center of the thought, in the sense that one thought rises and falls, and there's a place in between, another thought rises and falls. You are in the center of these thoughts. The vilamba, as we call it, the time where you pause. Then you will understand Christ. He was here, partly of course to save us, because he had many aspects, I should say. Not only to save human beings, he came on this earth. There were many more aspects. This is also human beings have a demand, you see, that they must be saved. Why? One should, from God's angle if you see, why should they be saved, all of them? What have they done for God? How can you demand, God, that you must save us? Can you? You cannot ask for that. So he did come to create the passage between, as you see here, the Vishuddhi and the Sahasrara, this Agya. In the primordial being, the Virat, he was born there to open that door. In evolution, every incarnation has come on this earth to open a particular door within us and to create that opening or that enlightenment in our awareness. So Christ came precisely for opening this small little door which is constricted by our ego and superego. Ego and superego are the two byproducts of our thought process. One, the thoughts that are of the past, and the other, thoughts of the future. He came to make that gap, to cross that gap, and that's how he has sacrificed himself, his body, for you it is a very big thing of remorse and repentance. But for such people, it is not. It's a play. They have to play a certain role. That's why I do not understand why do you show him to be such a lanky-panky, miserable creature. He was never miserable. Such people can never be miserable as you are. This is another concept of man, that he should be lanky, panky, tally, skinny, starved, bones coming out. Count them one by one. Horrible, I tell you. From his childhood to his death, he was jolly person. He was happiness. He was joy. To make you all happy, to give you the light of happiness by enlightening your source of joy, that is your spirit in your heart, that he came on this earth, not only to save you, first to give you happiness, to give you joy. Because human beings in their ignorance and in this tomfoolery are unnecessarily beating themselves and destroying themselves. When nobody asked you to go to pubs to get into trouble, nobody has asked you to go to races and become bankrupts. Nobody has asked you to go to horrible gurus and get into troubles. But you seek your destruction morning till evening. Then he comes there, like a morning flower, to make you happy. First, to make you happy, to give you joy. You see, any child, at least I know myself, I don't know about the funny people here. I mean, for them flowers also look like thorns. I mean, I don't know how they manage that stuff. But you see a child anywhere, any child, such a joy-giving thing it is. And this is the child of the divine that comes on this earth as a child. It's the most joy-giving thing. And that's why Christmas for all of us, for the whole universe, should be a festival of great joy. For he brought light for us, by which you can see that there is someone called as God, there is someone who is going to remove this ignorance. This was the first beginning. So, for us, it is necessary to be first joyous and be happy and relaxed, and not to take anything that seriously as we take. Because divine life doesn't make you serious, because it's all a play. It's a maya. I've seen in all the rituals that people follow, in all the so-called religious people, they are too serious to be religious. A religious person is bubbling with laughter. He doesn't know how to hide his joy. And he doesn't know how to control his laughter when he sees people who are unnecessarily serious. I mean, nobody's dead. The way the people say it is sometimes you just don't know what to do with yourself. You just can't control. So there's nothing in this world for a person like Christ to feel sad about. And if you really believe in him, then please first of all give up this silly sadness and sulking and sitting down and becoming morose, not talking to anyone, silent bores all over. That is not the way to look at Christ. See how he went and talked to multitudes. How he opened his hands to all the people around, and how he tried to give them happiness. He has said that you are to be born again. That means he had to do this work. And that you have to get it sometime. He had promised that you are to be born again. Christ is to be born within us. I don't know what Christians understand out of this. How do you become born again? Not by going through a ritual of christening. Somebody coming from a theological college cannot make you a Christian. Like in our India, we have some paid Brahmins, as you have here paid people, you see. The whole day they will eat, drink, be merry, and evening time they will come and pray and preach. That sort of people. You have to be a person who is authorized by God. Unless and until you are authorized by God, you cannot give joy. And that's why I've seen all these people, the so-called big pundits and the big priests, and all of them are so serious because they are not authorized by God. Even on a Christmas day, anybody who comes from a village may think there's a funeral going on. And after the funeral, they go home. How do you celebrate? With a champagne. And after the funeral also, real funeral also, they'll celebrate this. I don't know why, but they take champagne. How can you celebrate Christ? By insulting him. He came to enlighten your awareness because he respected your awareness, the point at which it had reached. But you are trying to put it down. Is this the way to understand him? And he has promised that you are to be baptized, you are to be born again. And now in Sahaja Yoga, this promise is being fulfilled. So be joyous that here at the Agya Chakra, again Christ is born within you. And he is there. And you know how you can ask for his help, always. But the main thing that one has to understand, that the time has come for you to get all that is promised in the scriptures. Not only in the Bible, but all the scriptures of the world. The time has come today that you have to become a Christian, a Brahmin, a Peer, through your Kundalini awakening only. There is no other way out. And that your last judgment is also now. Only through your Kundalini awakening, God is going to judge you. How is he going to judge you otherwise? You think of somebody now. A person comes in now, here somebody sitting to judge you. How? By how many hairdressers you have been to? How many suits you have stitched for the Christmas? Or what presents you have bought? And how many cards you have sent? And to how many people you have sent some other things which may not be very palatable. That's not the way. Or is it that at what price you have bought all the things? The way we are particular? Which way are we going to be judged? By God. Not superficially, people say. So what depth have we got? Let's see. How far can we go in our depth? At the most, we reach a point where we are nothing but a concept again. So whatever depth we know goes up to only rationality, up to the concept point. Beyond that we cannot reach. So how can we be judged? How do people are judged if you go to a doctor? He has his instruments, he works it out, he puts the light in, sees for himself and says this is the position. And how your spirituality is going to be judged? How a seed is judged? By sprouting it. When you sprout the seed and when you see its germinating power, you know that it's a good seed or a bad seed. In the same way, you will be judged by the way you are germinated, the way you receive your realization, the way you retain it, the way you respect it. That is how you are going to be judged, and not by the kind of dresses you are wearing, by the type of matching you do and the hairdressing you go to, not by the big positions you occupy and the big politicians and big bureaucrats you become, not by what kind of houses you have built and what kind of so-called Nobel Prizes you have won. You are not also going to be judged by your philanthropic work, by that you think that you have given so much money, so much so. Because if you have given so much money, there will be big ego somewhere hanging, and it will bring you down, your scale. This is a judgment in which the little feather is going to weigh more, much more than a ship. It's a different type of a judgment of a personality. You can see how Christ was judged by human beings and how he was judged by God. He came and lived in the dried straw like a feather. His mother never felt his discomfort. In the same way, those who have not by their being oppressed others or taken oppression are going to be judged as first class. In the Kundalini awakening itself, there are inherent defects. Inherently, the Kundalini has some defects because of your previous karmas. Because what you have been doing in this lifetime. Because the things that you have accepted as reality, which is just a concept. Because when you have not known the absolute, whatever you will be doing, there will be a little of ignorance with it. Whatever you have done in darkness will have a particle of darkness in it. So without knowing realization, if you are propagated, oh, we are great saints, this, that, you will have no chance. If you think you are a very divine personality and you are already a realized soul, no chances. All the priests of all the religions will be the last to get realization. Valmiki in his Ramayana has very clearly said, a very interesting story is there, that a dog was asked, what do you want to be in your next life? So he told, make me anything but don't make me a Mathadish. A person, Mathadish is a person like a priesthood. So make me everything but not a priest anywhere. Just imagine a dog having that wisdom. But I do not say that all of them are like that. There may be some who are really genuine, some may be really realized people, may be authorized by God, but I'm sure they are not accepted by the multitude. I'm sure of that. Because I've seen your history and all that. I've seen all such people have been discarded and have been tortured. But now the time has come to judge the right and the wrong. You cannot crucify anymore. You cannot. Everyone is going to be judged through Kundalini awakening. Now, you should know there are 3 categories of human beings. I don't know which way to start, not to shock you. One is human beings as we are, normal. They are called as Narayoni. The second categories are Devayoni. Those who are born seekers or realized souls, mostly realized souls are Devayoni. And the third ones are called as Rakshas. These are called as Ganas. Actually, these are called as Ganas, but we can say the species among human beings. Are Rakshasas, means the people who are evil. So we have evil people, excellent people, and we have in-between people. Excellent people are very few. They are born realized. I don't have their problem much. But one has to deal with the people who are in the center. They are looking towards good, but have something hanging on to them, which is not so good. So for these people, there are inherently some defects in the Kundalini which we must understand. The first of them is bad health. Physical bad health, actual physical bad health. In this country especially, people suffer from too much of cold and other troubles due to over-calcium in the water. In the same way, according to the countries, Sthana Vishesh as they call it, you have your problems. Like in our country, we have some problems. Like in your country, you have certain problems. So the physical problems are according to the country where you have taken your birth. Most of you have decided to take birth in particular countries. That's why you are identified also, to such an extent sometimes that you think there is no defect. Every country has a variety by which you suffer a certain amount of setback in your health. So for a Sahaj Yogi, one should know that health is a very important thing, because this body is the temple of God, and one has to look after your health. And you know also, when the Kundalini rises, the first thing that happens that your health improves because of the parasympathetic fulfillment. Because parasympathetic gives you enlightenment, which flows into sympathetic, and your health improves. I will not tell about it very elaborately today because time is short, but if you read I would say I haven't yet written much, but if you listen to my lectures and some of them which are written down, you will know how Kundalini helps to cure most of the diseases except for which are being tampered by human ailments. Like a kidney trouble now has been cured by Sahaj Yoga, no doubt. We can cure kidney trouble. But a person who has been on the machine, we've tried, cannot be cured. We can give him longevity, but he cannot be cured. But to cure people is not your job at all, by any chance. You must remember this. No Sahaj Yogi should take to curing people. They can use my photograph, but not to take to curing, because it means you are a big philanthropic personality. I have seen people who have been curing get into such a mania of curing that they forget that they are also catching something and they are also getting some troubles, and then they never cure themselves. Ultimately, I find they get out of Sahaja Yoga. But with the photograph, you can cure people. Do not think that it is your duty, that you are a great sort of what you call a benefactor, physical benefactor. No, you are not. You are a spiritual benefactor, but as a byproduct, the body of the person improves, because if Christ has to be awakened, if God has to come in this body, then this body is to be cleansed. It is done by Kundalini. But it does not have a separate work like hospitals. I have known people who went so mad with their power of curing that they started visiting regularly the hospitals. And they ended up in the hospital only. They would not even come to programs. They would not even come and see me. So this is one of the greatest hurdles you have got, is the vyadhi, is the bodily ailments. And the bodily element also should not take you down too much. If we have some problem, forget it. Gradually it will improve. With some people it takes time to get all right. But the main thing is to get to your spirit. So do not always say, Mother, cure me, cure me, cure me. But just say, Mother, give me the spiritual life, and you will be cured automatically. It may take time in some people. Doesn't matter. You have been sick all your life. Doesn't matter. A little more time. And also follow the methods which we have told about different diseases, especially liver in this country, colds, and what you call this, gout and all these troubles. We have remedies for all this. Diabetes, we have. But work it out as a duty towards your body, towards the temple. But that should not be the end of your life. That's a very little part. I mean, it would be something like cleaning the whole place, and then you get out of it. So why did you clean? Like I've seen here people, you see. When we were in Oxford, I was surprised. You see, everybody used to polish everything, and everything was lawn was done very well, and everything cleaned very well, and not even a rat would enter their houses. For months together, I never saw any person getting in, only getting out. And they were so particular. Husband, wife, so particular about cleanliness, neatness, everything. And the both of them would never even talk to each other. I have seen that. There were 7 houses except for our house, and they were all surprised that how many people are coming to our house. They said, "Are you an open house?" I said, "Yes, it is an open house." They couldn't understand what was wrong with us. Nobody would see that polished thing or anything. So that's how it should be, that we should not go to that extent, that it becomes a sort of a real Sahaja Yoga, and the rest, which is the most important, is for God. Health will improve gradually, as I have told you. But attention should be on your spirit. Attention should be on your spirit, because it is the attention which goes into these various directions and gets stuck. You just allow it to work out, and it will work out. The second hurdle, which I feel, is called as a karmanyata. Vasnat, they call it. Means a person does not want to work it out. Of course, those people who are useless, who do not want to have realization, forget about them. But even after getting realization, it's an innate problem with people that they do not want to work it out. They are lazy. In simple words, they are lazy. That is very much in this country, surprisingly. I mean, the other day I saw a picture where how from your country people went to Germany and blasted a complete machinery and a complete factory of that machinery which was sending pilotless bombs. And they have overdone everything, so that now children are having a nice time, perhaps. But in Sahaja Yoga, you have to be alert. This is what exactly happens in Sahaja Yoga when people come here. They get their realization, they feel the cool breeze, and it's lost again. The reason is they do not want to work it out. This is another danger, akarmanyata. Then, when it is lost, after 1 year they'll come back, Mother, we don't believe in it, but I have got some pain in the stomach, will you cure me? Instead of you becoming so equipped with all the powers that you have, you become another useless person coming here just to take my time. These powers are all within you. This is your property. This is the property of your spirit which is there inside, which is about to manifest, but because of certain hurdles that you accept that it does not. This is akarmanyata, we can say, which is not working it out, not knowing about it, not understanding it. What is Sahaja Yoga is, how to manipulate this, what are these vibrations are, how it works out. People just say, oh, it's too much. Because they don't want to face the reality. Because as soon as your kundalini comes up, as soon as the light comes in, before the eyes are closed, you see, suddenly the light comes in. You don't want to open your eyes. Because too much we have been sleeping. Even if you open your eyes a little bit, oh God, you don't want to face the light. Because you are identified with that state, you do not want to open your eyes. Kundalini opens your eyes, no doubt, but again you close it down. So it is in your freedom to give up that akarmanyata. Now this is also can be very collective. I can tell you this much. It's a very big disease which spreads. Like, say, a husband-wife is there. The wife is one like that. Instead of the husband raising the wife, he will succumb to wife, especially in the West. Just the opposite in India. Because the husband is more dominating, the woman will succumb to her husband. So what happens is that out of the two, those who have got it also are just wasted. Instead of that, both of them could be very well realized and could be there if the one who is realized puts down his will that no, I'll keep my eyes open to see. Let me see it. I must give a chance to myself. If they accept it, then it works. And then they go to the second step. Everything cannot be just like a jetliner. Sit down here and next moment you are on the moon. Even if you are in the moon, still you may start with the third danger which is there. Is sanshaya. Is the doubting. I don't know how to describe this madness of doubting. For example, out of all of you who have been here, I would say at least, I don't know how much percentage, have come out with the second day a very great statement. Still I am doubting. Is that the sign of wisdom? What are you doubting? What have you found out so far? From where does this come? is Mr. Ego, about which I have given lectures after lectures. Is Mr. Ego that is doubting it? Because he doesn't want you to find the absolute. You are identified with your ego, and you do not want to find it because this Mr. Ego has been guiding your life throughout, and now you want to doubt. Doubt what? What are you doubting? You felt the cool breeze, all right? Sit down there. It would be something like somebody entering into a college, university, and they are going, sitting down first day there. Teacher says, now, this is the diagram I give you. The students get up and say, sir, we doubt. Really? Then what should the teacher say? But they will not say that because they have paid the fees. They have paid it. Even if it is a horrible drama, boring one, still we go through it because we have paid, you see. To go through it, after all, we have paid it, you see. What to do? But for Sahaja Yoga, you cannot pay. I have seen all kinds of tomfoolery people accept in so many gurus. Like somebody says, I'm going to teach you how to fly. They're absolutely ready for that. They'll pay money and not doubt even a bit that the fellow who is propagating, is he flying? Have you seen him flying anywhere? Please at least ask that person to fly. They will see the Kundalini rising with their eyes. They will see it pulsating, rising, breaking here. Still they'll sit down and say, I'm doubting. Now who are you? How far have you reached? Why are you doubting? What are you doubting? What have you known so far about yourself? Now humble down yourself at this point. Humble down in your heart. No, I have not known myself. I have to know myself. I have not known myself. I haven't got the absolute. With what instrument I am doubting? This is one of the greatest hurdles of Kundalini awakening and in after awakening, called as Samshaya. The fourth one we can call it as Pramad, is the one by which we go on faltering all the time. Foolish questions. I mean, there are certain things one has to follow. If you are going on the road, you see, you are used to, say, continental driving. So always you turn on the wrong side. But in London, you will be arrested. In the same way, so far you have been doing continental driving. Now you are in London. So you better take to the ways of Londoners and understand the roads and the maps and the regulations that are needed and try to follow them. But you are doubting it. That's the main point. Then you don't want to follow it. So the pramad is the mistakes that arise. Because Kundalini awakening is a free gift to anyone who comes here. To anyone who has been to any sort of hell or heaven or has done point about it. And why do you doubt? You are not paying any money. These two things go hand in hand. Doubting and pramad is the mistakes that we commit throughout. Because we are doubting, that's why we do not take it up seriously. We do not understand it, the rule of the road, and we just start driving. And then we have accidents. And then when we have accidents, we blame Mataji for that. That is a very, very common thing that happens, that we blame Sahaja Yoga. We blame that spontaneous happening within us. We never take the blame upon ourselves. That, no, I must have done this mistake. All right, doesn't matter if I make mistakes, I will rectify it. It's all right. Mother is forgiving, no doubt. I forgive. But sometimes my forgiveness is also of no use, because unless and until you realize that it was a mistake, you should go this way, instead of that you have gone that way. So rule of the road is to be understood. That is the one comes to us called as pramad. After that, we have another inherent problem, is called as Brahma Darshan, hallucinations. We start seeing hallucinations, especially with people who take LSD and all the such things. They don't see me sometimes, they just see light. Or any such hallucinations you see of the future or of the past. They may see me as something else and they may see me as something else. If you see me in dreams is all right, or see something in dreams is all right, but you start seeing some things, that's called as Brahmadarshan. Brahma means illusion. Then you start developing illusions. But the worst part of it is that people start telling lies about it. I know about everyone. And when this Brahma Darshan starts, it's the most dangerous thing about vibrations also. Some people are absolutely cocksure about themselves. I see that. And they'll tell all the world, you see, they'll dominate everybody saying that the vibrations of this is not good, the vibrations of that is not good, while they have no mastery over it. Now, if I somehow or other, see, I have to be very careful, I can't talk like a teacher, so I somehow or other say that, all right, you give yourself a bandhan, and now you put your hands towards me and see for yourself and all that. If they, by any chance, know that I've found out that they are lying, then they are finished. I must keep up their falsehood, everything in me. In by chance, you see, I'm very careful though, because I know they are always on a slippery ground. So even if I mention in a way that is not so blunt or anything, still it might happen. But one must know that it is for our good, that we have to stick on to the truth. And we should not be led away by our own ideas about ourselves. Then the another thing comes is Vishaya Chitta, in which the attention is attracted by objects of your previous identification. Like your attention has been, you say, I'm very fond of cricket. All right, you are. But you should not be a sick person. I mean, cricket doesn't mean that you become a cricket bat. And you are good for nothing, for anything else. For all practical purposes, you are dead. That kind of craziness, for anything whatsoever, gets your attention into a very wrong state and is also not good for all the Sahajogis. Today's lecture is more for the Sahajogis. So I'm pointing out what are the inherent dangers of sustaining our realization, which is very important to understand. Now the two other very big dangers which we suffer from, apart from that the people get possessed and get ideas into their heads, they start singing songs, this, that. Sometimes I'm so embarrassed, I don't know what to say. I can see a devil speaking through them, but I just don't know how to tell them that, oh, please stop. Even praising me, I know what it is. But they'll just come up and say, Mother, we want to sing a song to you. All right, finished. I cannot say anything because they do not know what they are singing. They do not know from where did they get this knowledge. It's something else doing this. Because of all these problems that you get possessed. The other day somebody came to me and said that, Mother, I'm feeling very overconfident about myself and cocksure. Really? And I feel like doing something very high-handed. And he did it. First he saw the possession coming into him. And then he did it, and did it in a very bad way. Everybody is angry with him, I know, but I'm not. Because something is done in possession. You don't know what madness people can do when they get possessed. I mean, they should end up in lunatic asylum, but because of being Sahajogis, they do all these things. But still, they are not stationed where they should be. Then there are two more stages in which a Kundalini which rises also falls down. This is an inherent danger in a person. Many people have asked me that, Mother, if we get realization, does it stay? It does stay, part of it. Sometimes it is very thin part of it. Sometimes the whole thing is sucked back. It is sucked back. If so, then you say, then we start doubting. Where is it written that you will be lifted up and put into something great, whatever may be your problems? Is it possible? Even from here, if I have to go to India, I have to get inoculations and vaccinations, I have to get my passport, go through an interview. While if you have to enter into the kingdom of God, then you are going to be judged. Not only judged, but even when supposing you give a grace mark and all that and a person is allowed to sort of get into the plane, maybe that they may ask you to get down. Is possible. And that happens with some people, that the Kundalini falls out. It is a very, very dangerous sign. It comes through many problems like gurus and going to wrong places, also going to spirits and doing all black magic, and also bowing before people who are not incarnations, worshipping wrong type of deities, and also doing mad rituals, fasting at wrong times and not understanding the science of fasting and of ritualism and chakras and the connection, a complete synthesis of Sahaja. And it falls down. In some people you have seen that Kundalini rises and immediately falls down. It's a very, very dangerous thing, which really is very troublesome also. But still one can fix it up. Last danger that we have, which one should know, that you start feeling that you have become God or some like an incarnation or something. This is the biggest danger. And then you start taking law into your own hands and start rebuking others or doing all kinds of high-handed business or getting over self-satisfied with yourself. This is a very big danger. Humility is the only way to know that there's an ocean before you. You have got into the boat, all right, but you have to know a lot. You have to understand a lot. And you have to still attend to your attention, to your chitta, to your awareness. And you have to still work it out in such a way that you really establish yourself as a full-fledged Sahajogi, by which collectivity becomes a part and parcel of your being, by which you have no doubts left. From thoughtless awareness, you jump into doubtless awareness. Unless and until that happens within you, is not mind, but is a state in which only the Kundalini will rise whenever you will raise your hands. Unless and until you have achieved that state, please try to work it out. Don't be lazy. You have to see around yourself, meet people, talk to them. The more you talk about it, the more you do it, the more you give it, the more it will flow. The more you sit at home, oh, I'm doing my puja at home. Nothing. It will stagnate and stagnate. You have to give it to others. You have to think of others. Thousands of them have to have it. And that's why it is important that don't get bloated with the idea that you have all the powers of the world already manifesting. Never. When these powers really manifest, we are really not aware of them. Absolutely. I mean, imagine the sun saying, I'm the sun. Will he say so? When he is the sun, what is there? If you go and ask the sun, are you the sun? He said, yes, by the way, I am. What can I do about it? It's that simple, You become a very simple person. Absolutely simple, because there is no camouflage, there's no complication. You are that. So, anybody asks you funny questions, you say, by the way, what is there to ask? It is so. I mean, if I am a realized soul, I am. What does it matter? With this understanding, we have to go to Sahaja Yoga, which I must say I'm surprised how it is working miraculously. And it is working out. But it is you who can settle it within yourself. Now, among you, some are only on the periphery. We keep them on the periphery also, that you know very well. Some of them come in the center. And some are very few who are in the inner circle. All of them are still in a state where they can be thrown out, like a tangent goes out, you see. And then you don't understand why a Sahajogi behaves like that. If you see some Sahajogi behaving like that, going in a tangent, know that you might do the same. So be careful. So today, at this juncture, when we are celebrating the great event of Christ's life, let us know that Christ is born within us, and the Bethlehem is within us. You don't have to go to Bethlehem, it's within us. He's there, and we have to look after it. It's still a child. You have to respect it, and you have to look after it. So the light really grows, and people know that you are realized souls. Nobody will doubt that you are not. May God bless you all.
अब हम श्री माता जी की आरती करेंगे. लेट अस नाउ डू श्री माता जी आरती. सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जग में संकट कारण कितने लिए अवतार माँ, कितने लिए अवतार। विश्व में तेरी महिमा, विश्व में तेरी महिमा। गंगा यमुना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जो भी शरण में आया सुख ही मिला उसको माँ, सुख ही मिला उसको। बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ, लौट के ना जाना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। मानव में अवतर के कर दिया उजियारा माँ, कर दिया उजियारा। कलयुग में माया है, कलयुग में माया है, फिर भी पहचाना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। संत जनों की धरती है भारत माता, माँ है भारत माता। इस धरती पर आकर, इस धरती पर आकर दुख से दूर करना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जब दिल में आए तब मधुर संगीत सुन लो, माँ मधुर संगीत सुन लो। हो सके जो सेवा, हो सके जो सेवा हमसे करा लेना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कलकी साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ओम त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कलकी साक्षात् श्री सहस्रार स्वामिनी मोक्ष प्रदायनी माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। बोलो श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की जय। श्री माता जी, आज के इस सुंदर ध्यान एवं आपके द्वारा दिए गए सभी आशीर्वादों के लिए आपको कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद। आने वाले नए साल के उपलक्ष्य में 1 जनवरी 2021 को यहाँ निर्मल धाम से शाम को 4 बजे से 6 बजे तक ध्यान का ऑनलाइन कार्यक्रम होगा। कृपया सभी इसके लिए YouTube चैनल के माध्यम से समय से जुड़ें। On the occasion of New Year, on 1st January 2021, there will be a live telecast from Nirmal Dham from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. All Sahjogis to join the channel through YouTube. Jai Shri Mata Ji.